Alright, hello everyone, it is silverkyle, and today I am going to be going over my entire PlayStation 3 collection that I've amassed since 2011. So before we get into the games, I just want to talk a little bit about my experience with the PlayStation 3. As I said, I got it in 2011, so it was already 5 years into its life cycle. And the reason why was I had the Xbox 360 and the Wii combo, and to me at the time, I felt that that's all that I really needed. Little did I know that when I got the PlayStation 3 finally in 2011, is that there are so many damn good exclusives on the system. And that's essentially what my collection consists of, is pretty much 95% of it is exclusives. And that's how I used it. I used it as a supplement to whatever games I was getting on the Xbox 360 as multi-platforms, and the exclusives on the Wii and the PlayStation 3 at the time. This is all exclusives, and I still feel that there are still at least double this, if not more, of games that are exclusive to the PlayStation 3 that I want for my collection still. So I do not consider my PlayStation 3 collection done at all. I'm still collecting for it, just very slowly, because Switch, PS4, and Xbox One are really what are eating up most of my time and my collecting in terms of money as well. But let me know in the comments below if you see anything that I'm missing that is an exclusive to the PlayStation 3 that I should get. And it's probably already on my radar, but maybe it might push me into being like, okay, I need to get that sooner rather than later, and maybe play it also sooner rather than later. Okay, let's get on with the collector's editions and limited editions that I have in my collection. I don't have really a lot, but the ones that I have I very much enjoy. And to me, the PlayStation 3 was really a JRPG machine. That is exactly what it was, and I love it for that. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get a PlayStation 3. At the time, it was more so for like Uncharted and those exclusives, but then once I started looking into the library, they were starting to really get a lot of JRPGs, which is strange because the Xbox 360 out of the gate was the first one to get most of the JRPGs because they had specific deals signed so that they could try to get the Japanese audience. It didn't work for them, and then after a few years, they're like, okay, it's not worth it to try to keep these exclusives, and then the PlayStation 3 just took on everything. So that was really cool. Alright, so the first one is Tales of Xillia. I can't remember how to pronounce that. Is it Xillia or Xillia? I honestly don't remember. I used to know how to pronounce it back in the day. So yeah, I got the collector's edition for this. It does come with a figurine. Actually, I can probably get them too. It's the main female protagonist. We're going to put her there for now. So I'm going to put this to the side now, just so I have a little bit more room to talk and move around. And the game itself is right here. I've played this, a very good game. I still need to beat it though. This was actually my first Tales game ever, and I really enjoyed it. And what's his name? The main guy from what's it called? The Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Matt Mercer lends his voice to one of the characters in this. Okay, we'll put that there for now. Next up is Tales of Xillia 2, or Xillia. I really can't remember how to pronounce that. This one's a little bit of a bigger box than the other one was. It did come off the statue as well. Actually, I guess I could show the back here of what's included. So we're going to put that to the side and get the statue. He's on the other side, I believe. Yep. I didn't think about showing these guys. So there you go. Put him over there as well. Alright. And the game itself is right here. I did not unbox this yet. Because I didn't beat the first one, and it is a direct sequel. Most of the Tales of games are, for the most part, standalone games on their own, but a few of them do have sequels, and so because I hadn't beaten the first one yet, I wanted to save myself before getting into the sequel, obviously. And it did come with a steelbook, which I think is my only PlayStation 3 steelbook that I own. I believe. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's the only one. Next up is a bunch of, like, I guess these are like limited editions or something like that, of Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Remix, and then Kingdom Hearts 2.5 Remix. Yeah. I wish that they would have kept kind of the same thing going. I really like this, the one that they used for the 1.5, where it kind of just, it's like a slipcover, and it kind of comes out as a book almost, and it has like a bit of art at the beginning. It's probably a bunch of promotional stuff, but it had like some sketches and that kind of stuff. and then you get to the game itself. So I thought that that was really neat. They also did that for Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2, which I do have as well. All right. In that format. I really like that too. And now this game, you know, I hate it when the coloring changes. I should probably change that on my camera. I'll just move it back a little bit. I really, this game is pretty much on everything now. It's on PlayStation 4, Vita, Switch. I don't know if the Xbox One ended up getting it, which is always strange. Final Fantasy on Xbox just seems wrong to me. And my last one, which is the limited edition of Metal Gear Solid 4. Which is, very strong. Alright, so that's all done for that. Then let's get into the rest of the games here. Next up is another one that I picked up of the Tales series, Tales of Grace's F, which I picked up for $20 on clearance, and it's still sealed. And I was like, I'm going to pick that up. I knew at the time that I wouldn't be able to play it, but I wanted to get it because I knew that down the road that game could go up in higher prices because it is a JRPG. I actually don't know what it's worth nowadays. I assume it's more than $20. Next up is Twisted Metal. I really like this. I did end up beating this with a friend. Of all things, I played co-op. It's very rare that I played anything co-op back then. PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, for the most part, I played online, but we actually played like split screen co-op on this, and we beat the game. I guess we were really enjoying ourselves, and I did like this version of it. I wouldn't mind seeing another one for the PlayStation 4, or by this point, I guess the PS5. It's too bad that we didn't get more of these. I really enjoyed the first ones on PlayStation 1. I played 1, 2, and 3, and I never played Black though, but this does come with it. It did come with it. So you had like a download code for PlayStation for the PlayStation 2 Twisted Metal. That's the only one that I haven't played. Next up is The Last of Us, Part 1, obviously. Part 2 is just about to come out. And I enjoyed myself with this game. Obviously, Naughty Dog, for the most part, I really enjoy a lot of their work, especially in the last few years when they started making games for the PlayStation 3. I did enjoy Crash. I never really got into the Jak and Daxter series, and my brother used to play them, and I would see a little bit about what was going on. But to me, their best is still the Uncharted series. I did very much like The Last of Us Part 1, but I always felt that like after this game was done, I never really felt like I wanted to go back to this world. I really enjoyed the characters, but I never felt like I really wanted to go back. And now, because of everything that's kind of going on with Part 2, and I've seen a little bit about the spoilers, I don't know how I feel about it. It doesn't seem like... I don't want to get into it because then I'd be going into spoiler territory, and I don't want to... Like, it's a mixed bag, really. So we'll just leave it as is. The first one is an excellent game. I highly recommend trying it out. And they do have an updated version for the PlayStation 4 as well now. Next up is Grand Theft Auto 5. One of the few multi-platforms that I actually picked up for the PS3 instead of the Xbox 360. And I think I had heard that it might perform a little bit better on the PlayStation 3. I honestly don't know if that's actually true or not. But I think at the time that's what I had heard. So I was deciding to pick it up. I think this was also one disc instead of two. Not that that really bothers me. But I was like, with a Blu-ray disc, you probably are able to put in a little bit more on the actual disc itself. So yeah, love this game. I have it for I have the updated version for the Xbox One, and it is a phenomenal game. This is arguably the best Grand Theft Auto game. I still think I prefer Vice City for the story and the location of that. It's essentially like Miami, and I love that. It's also set in the 80s. You're wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and the beaches everywhere. There's just something about that that's very appealing to me. Whereas this is a lot more darker and grittier. But man, do we ever need a Grand Theft Auto 6? We should have had one for the PS4 and Xbox One cycle. It's really too bad that Rockstar didn't make a follow-up to this. And they're probably going to wait for the PS5 and Series X instead. Just make sequels, please. I know that they're still technically making a ton of money with Grand Theft Auto Online. But I want a sequel to this because the single player campaign, I felt that was maybe like 40 or 45 hours that I put into the single player campaign. I absolutely loved it. Next up, and none of my games are in order. They're all going to be kind of mixed match. So there's going to be sequels and all that kind of stuff all over the place. I'm sorry for that. I probably should have looked at a little bit of it and organized it, but at the same time I wanted to kind of go into this blind and just pick up a game and start talking about it, and maybe even sometimes forgetting that I had this in my collection. So I haven't seen anything of what's under these top ones here. The God of War collection of 1 and 2, so the HD remastered, the HD ports of the PlayStation 2 games. God of War, I never played the originals, so this was how I got into them. I beat the first one not too long ago, like 2 years ago, I feel. And it was okay, but it really didn't make me want to play the sequel, so I haven't yet. Or I might have played maybe like an hour or something like that of the second one. The first one, it was just there. I mean, back in the day on PlayStation 2, maybe then I would have enjoyed it. But at this point, I felt like I was like, it's just okay. I have another multi-platform, which is Call of Duty Black Ops 2. I have this, and I do have the first one in here somewhere as well, because for the most part, I got all my Call of Duties exclusively on the Xbox 360, but my brother had a PlayStation 3, and we ended up playing Black Ops and Black Ops 2 there. Black Ops 1, I remember we probably put hundreds of hours into that, and Black Ops 2, maybe 50 or so hours. The multiplayer I very much enjoyed in the Call of Duty series back then. Black Ops 1 was by far my favorite. Black Ops 2 is okay. I didn't beat the campaign. I got maybe halfway through in the campaign on the PlayStation 3 and never beat that one. And then that's kind of where I stopped with Call of Duty until the most recent one from last year, where I ended up getting it on PC. Infamous 2, haven't played this one yet. Resistance Fall of Man, one of the first PlayStation 3 games that I ended up getting when I got it in the summer of 2011, because I knew that it was an exclusive, and Resistance 3 at the time was coming out, and I absolutely love this game. The campaign of this was excellent. I'd say that out of the entire series, this one was my favorite. I was surprised at how much I actually enjoyed it, and I don't think I tried the multiplayer on it, though. Alright, so those two are together. At least I can talk about these. The other game that I got very early on in that summer was Uncharted 1, and I loved it. This is the weaker of the series from the original trilogy. It's still a great game, though, and back then, like, if I would have picked this up when it first came out, I would have been blown away. But I still very much enjoyed it in 2011, and it's essentially Indiana Jones. It's like a movie game, right? That's how they kind of promoted it. That your girlfriend would be like, let's watch the Uncharted movie, and it's like you having to play and pretending that you're not playing, and they're all like, you're not paying attention, and it was a good promotion because it actually kind of worked. And it did look so back then. I was like, that's a game that you can play. I was blown away. It's crazy how far we've come since then. Uncharted 2, arguably everybody's kind of favorite Uncharted game. I do think it is leaps and bounds. Well, not leaps and bounds, but it is definitely better than the first one. But I still think I might give the edge to the third. I don't know. It's the second and third to me are very, very, very close. Great games. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, their attempt at a Super Smash Bros. Game, and it failed horribly. And what could have been its saving grace in my eyes would have been that they initially wanted to put Dart from The Legend of Dragoon in this game. Imagine if we could have had Dart in this. People would have gone wild, and I feel that then we could have maybe even got people talking about Dart all the time, and potentially getting a Legend of Dragoon remake. There were so many things. Like, they even have art of what the character would have the model of what Dart's character would have looked like in this game. I really don't know why they didn't include him. Like, you have a very limited. It's not like they had like this A-list roster and didn't have enough room for him. This is a bunch of out of these mascots, like the BioShock Big Daddy is there. Like, that has nothing. BioShock was exclusive to Xbox 360 of all things. This is not a game that you necessarily need to be putting on there. I'd say that the biggest mascot here was maybe Little Big Planet at the time. Little Big Planet now is pretty much gone. Drake from Uncharted. Uncharted 4 was the last time that we've seen him, so we've only seen him once on PlayStation 4. Kratos, at least. Maybe he's the biggest mascot that we have there. Ugh. Jeez. Bunch of... Compared to the Nintendo's franchises, in terms of mascots, not games, mascots, because I love the Uncharted series to death. Ratchet & Clank is good too. Sly Cooper is good too. I've heard that the new God of War is excellent, and Little Big Planet was okay. But yeah, Uncharted, phenomenal games, but in terms of like, they're not nearly as old as any of the other characters. Whereas Dart would have been from PlayStation 1. You know, the more that you go back in history, the more that you care about some of these characters. Anyway, the Journey collection, which also includes Flow and Flower. Flow is kind of just meh. I would never really recommend anybody, but Flower and Journey are absolutely excellent games. If you can actually get them on the PlayStation 4, and I highly recommend trying them out. They're very short, like an hour and a half to 2 hours, and they're just experiences. This is where you would say that video games can be art, and Flower and a Journey define that. Uncharted 3. Like I said, I think that this one is arguably, to me, I think for me this is my favorite one, but it has been years since I played it. Like, I beat Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 all in 2011. I played 1 and 2 in anticipation of 3, and then I got 3. I might have beat 3 in early 2012. I can't remember exactly, so I haven't played them since. Resistance 3. Very much enjoyed this one. This one I played a lot more online. So I ended up getting Resistance 1 and 2 during that summer, beating them, and then in September getting this game, and also really liking it. It was the shorter of the campaigns. Like, I feel the other campaigns were maybe 10 to 12 hours long, and this one I feel like was only 6 hours, but it was fast paced and to the point. And I would say that I enjoyed it more than Resistance 2. Not as much as Resistance 1 though. Sly Cooper 4, I just wanted to get this game because I did enjoy the Sly Cooper series, and it's still sealed, but I wanted to pick it up because it was a budget title. So normally at the time in Canada, games were $60, and this one was only going for $40. So I wanted to pick it up to show that, hey, keep releasing specific games for $40, we'll buy them. I didn't play it, but I supported them right away. Like, I bought it day one. I got Warhawk, and with the intention of playing it, but I never did. And by the time that I would have gotten around to playing it, the servers were down. Call of Duty Black Ops 1, the game that I ended up... The Call of Duty that I would say I definitely put the most number of hours in, because I had it on the Xbox 360, beat the campaign there, really enjoyed it too. I think this would probably be my favorite campaign out of the Call of Duty series. It would be up there. Maybe one of the Modern Warfares might beat it. But anyway, love this game, and the multiplayer, hundreds of hours into it. Like, Nuketown. So I would say that all the maps on Black Ops 1, for the most part, are the best maps in the Call of Duty games that I've played. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. Next up we have... and I don't remember which. I think this one might be the first one. Yep. Blaze Blue Calamity Trigger and Blaze Blue Continuum Shift. Fighting games with cool 2D characters. Very fast paced for these games. Little Big Planet 1 and 2. Beat the first one. It's cute. I never really tried any of the online, and I never tried the second one. Dragon's Crown for the PlayStation 3. I remember playing this, and it was okay, but I do want to give it a second chance because I'm considering getting they have an updated version for the PlayStation 4, but I'm going to try it out on PlayStation 3 first to see if it's worth upgrading. Ni no Kuni. I remember when this game came out. It's Studio Ghibli partnering up with, what is it, Level 5? Yeah, Level 5. And they did a phenomenal job. This is essentially an anime come to life. Kind of like in... I don't know, maybe like a Pokemon-esque game where you go around in this world, and it's all, like I said, anime style. And you're this boy that finds this book about magic, and he starts recruiting monsters to fight with him. I liked it. It was cute. The two motorsports games, MotorStorm, not Motorsport, MotorStorm 1 and MotorStorm Pacific Rift. I think there was like 3 or 4 games of this series. I played the first one and it was okay. Very high paced and action oriented, but I never got to try it online. Disgaea 3, massive strategy RPG that I never got into. I just saw it for like $10 at one point, and I was like, I'm going to pick that up because that could go up in price. Final Fantasy 13. I still also haven't tried it. I do want to get into it, but I've heard so many mixed reviews of this game. Some people absolutely hate it. Some people are kind of indifferent. Heavy Rain. I've tried a little bit of this, and I did enjoy what I was playing. I'm surprised that I never went back to it. Mag, another game that from the creators of Warhawk. Once again, massive online. What would this be? Game? What was it? Massive online. Stood for massive online game. Is that what it was? Is that what MAG is what it stood for? Either way, it boasted how many players you could have. 64 to 256. Is 256 correct? That's insane if that's the case. But either way, I never played this game. I once again had intentions to play it, and I never did. And then the servers died. Resistance 2. So, like these games, this I would say would be the weaker of the three that I had played. Although the ending of this is absolutely phenomenal and almost made it edge out the other two, because if the ending is just so much fun. Lair, one of those early RPGs, I believe, on the system that I never played, but I saw it for like $5, so I picked it up, and it was in actually really good condition. Like, it looks brand new. That's the other thing, too, that I love about this era of games, is I loved all the cases for them. The Xbox 360 cases, the PlayStation 3 cases, and the Wii cases. I don't know, there was just something about them that I liked each of them individually. Whereas the ones that are out now, like, I really despise the Xbox One cases. It is such a minor complaint. Like, I'm complaining about cases, but it's true that there is something to them, if you're a collector anyway. The Jak and Daxter collection, I picked this up because I think my brother wanted to play this, so I ended up getting it, and I never played it. The Sly Cooper collection, and there's quite a few HD remasters on here. This one I did play. I played the first one, and I started the second one, and I absolutely love these games. They are great. Well, from what I had played. Killzone 3, I haven't played that one. Infamous 1, I had started this one, and I wasn't really getting into it. It's unfortunate, because I've heard a lot of good things about it, but it was just kind of meh. Still Sealed, Eco, and Shadow of the Colossus collection. I should really play Shadow of the Colossus, although there's a PlayStation 4 port now, so I should probably get that one. Killzone 2, haven't played that one either. And God of War 3, I also haven't played that. That's unfortunate we're ending it off on 2 games that I hadn't played. Or I guess 3. It had been a while since I had played something in my list. But there you go. That is my entire PlayStation 3 collection. Now that I've gone through everything, there's like games on my mind right now that I know that I need. Specifically JRPGs. I think there's Tales of Symphonia that I would need, definitely. There's no, Persona, I'm pretty good for that because there's nothing really on PS4. Well, there was, PlayStation 4 has Persona 5, but they did make a port of it on PlayStation 3. But if I can get it on PS4, I won't get it. I won't get it on the PS3. Why am I not thinking of anything else? All the Atelier games. There's those I definitely need. I'm just blanking right now, but I know that. But I'm just seeing how small my collection is. Like, I feel that this is small. I know that there's so many more games that I want for it. So I'm gonna have to start making lists and start buying some. So thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think about my collection, or what I'm missing specifically. More so on the JRPG side. That's really what I want to be getting for the PS3 at this point. And you have been rated in.
Beardage.